So we are very delighted to welcome Amy from Australia, Digital Economy Council of Australia, to share with us what they are doing in their association, what are the latest updates and the key updates from Australia, and also tell us a little bit more about your association as well. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It is a real privilege, and it's my first participation in this forum. I'm Amy Rose, the CEO of the Digital Economy Council of Australia. We're the peak industry body for the digital economy, primarily focused on blockchain, digital assets, tokenization, and intersecting technologies and tech stacks, really, intersecting with AI, digital identity, digitalization of trade. We recently rebranded from Blockchain Australia. And so we did that over the past 12 to 18 months. So you might recall Blockchain Australia presenting last year or the year before. We rebranded because of that diversification of members within our association across multiple industry verticals. And we really wanted to make sure that we recognised and celebrated that diversification as we see the maturation of our industry, and really how far our tentacles go across the digital economy, and really just across everyday lives and the implementation of technologies, the intersection and the great convergence is what I call it. So that's the Digital Economy Council. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I love sharing the story of DECA. I've been with the association for around 7 years, and we're about 11 years old. So we have been around for a while, and I've been here since I was a baby. So I might just start and really share what the landscape looks like here in Australia. And I also want to acknowledge that this is a really unique environment, and it's one of the rare platforms where we get to learn from each other. And I'm more excited about that than presenting, actually, and sticking around to hear what everyone else is doing. As an industry association, it can actually be, we're, primarily we survive from member contributions, and it's a really hard gig as a not-for-profit. So being together with you all know the pain is real sometimes. So I might just get started. So where we are at the moment, I might start with CBDCs and stablecoins. Australia is advancing quite cautiously. We are a cautious nation. We're known to be a little bit of we used to say fast follower, but now we're slow follower, I guess you could say. We are, though, focusing on central bank digital currencies. You might have heard about some of the projects that we're doing. The Reserve Bank of Australia, in partnership with the Digital Finance CRC, has undertaken pilots that will examine wholesale settlement, tokenized markets, cross-border payments. The conclusion that we've come to, and this is an ongoing process with the Reserve Bank and the CRC, CBDCs do hold potential, but the design, as it's been seen at the moment, should be narrow. It needs to be interoperable. It needs to be globally aligned. And alongside this, stablecoins are probably, as you're aware in your own markets, they're live. They're already in operation. And so we do have Australian dollar-backed stablecoins now. We've got a few in our membership base if you want to head to our website and have a look. Meanwhile, the regulatory environment for stablecoins is only just evolving. And I know globally that's, lots of us are in similar positions, but we're really looking forward to, at the moment, some clarity around how our stablecoin issuers can operate. So at the moment, it's not just a debate anymore about stablecoins. All of a sudden, they're central. They are in everyone's mind. And essentially what they're doing here is bridging that traditional finance and digital asset landscape. I'll go to the law reform and regulation. That is, as an industry association, what we are, that's our highest priority at the moment, because we're just in the middle of that reform process. So The government has just released draft legislation for digital asset platform licensing. So that's our exchanges. And that's also for our custodians and our service providers as well. So that's going to offer clear regulatory oversight. There's payments licensing reforms that's underway as well, and that's running in parallel with some of the other reforms that are coming. ASIC, our regulator, is also going about to, in the next couple of weeks, provide guidance around how they see businesses should view some of the legislation that's currently in law at the moment. So they're doing that even before this draft legislation is passed as law. So there's a lot of moving parts at the moment. There's a lot on our plate as an industry association, responding to and making sure that we listen to the needs of our members. I might also, I don't know how much longer I have. There's a few things I would like to talk about, but
Yeah, you have got 5 more minutes, no problem.
okay, cool. And I don't have slides because I thought 10 minutes, I might just give a little bit of a rant. But Project Acacia is, I touched on it a little bit with the CBDC, but there's a focus on tokenization and settlement as well. That's a centerpiece of our current journey with Project Acacia. It's a joint initiative, as I said. So it's at the moment there is 24 use cases, 19 involve real money, 5 are just proof of concept, and the focus is wholesale CBDCs, stablecoins, bank deposits, tokenized assets, and they're actually all tested at the moment in real settlement environments. And some of the participants, which might be interesting to know, include our major banks. And we only have 4 major banks in Australia, and 3 of them are involved in this pilot Project Acacia. And obviously we've got our fintechs, we've got a number of DECA members who are involved in this as well. It really is a signal that the Australian government is paying very close attention to the real world use cases of our industry and of the technology. And that's quite refreshing, I think. We, on this, on the technology side, there are also multiple blockchain platforms, which you're probably familiar with, and there's some local-based platforms. So we've got Hedera, R3Quarter, but there's also some local Australian platforms, Redbelly, Canvas Connect, and just EVM compatible chains. And really interestingly, I think I'm not quite sure, and I might find out listening to my colleagues, that our regulator has granted relief to some of these, regulatory relief for some of these use cases to test their products in the environment. And so it's often hard because we don't have a lot of clarity, and we've run these pilots before, and there has been a little bit of friction because when you go to test a product in the real world, there are regulations that can add friction to some of that innovation. And so our regulator has come in and offered relief to allow this innovation to take place, which is wonderful and a good shift from last year. As I mentioned, our membership has evolved, which is part of the rebrand. One of our strengths here in Australia, we have a really strong economy, and we recognise that our sector is not confined to crypto. So we've got diverse members across the telcos, digital identity, we've got universities and small fintechs. A lot of our members are incorporating AI. I think many businesses inside, outside our industry are incorporating AI as well. Digital identity is a huge focus here in Australia, and there's obviously a lot of innovation around decentralized ID. So there's a few projects here in Australia who are building that as well for fraud prevention. So I might just close by touching on some of the challenges that we have. It is really, it's really hard to still, after a decade, to access a bank account for business banking. Debanking is still one of the biggest issues. Insurance used to be one of the biggest issues as well, but that is, we now have providers, even within our membership base, who can offer our members insurance. So that's abating now. We're just waiting on the bank friction to ease up a little bit. And I think we'll see that once we see that regulatory clarity. In the next 18. So yeah, I might just close and just say but that's not still on that regulatory journey, and until that point, we're probably going to continue to experience that what we say is a talent shortage, an exodus, I say, of our businesses moving to international markets that are more favourable to crypto and blockchain innovation. So that's why our forum matters, really, so that we can get together and discuss some of these issues and provide solutions to each other for these frictions. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Amy. That was excellent talk, excellent summary. I just wanted to ask just one question, just a kind of a general question, really. And this is I guess, a challenge sometimes, when we have change in government. So I remember your Senator Andrew Bragg, very nice guy. He spoke at our summit a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, in fact. And how do you find this? I mean, sometimes things slow down, but sometimes things speed up as well, like what we have seen in America, for example. These different policies, new governments, is it a challenge in Australia? Do you think that industry associations have an important role to play to make sure that the momentum is sustained, isn't it? And there's kind of continuous guidance and the vision is there to support governments and maybe educate them and guide them and upskill them. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. For many years, we didn't have what I call champions, really champions within the government on both sides of government, and we do have that now. We also have a parliamentary Friends of Blockchain, and that's a bipartisan forum where we have co-chairs from both sides of government. We come together every couple of months. We present research papers. We go to Canberra and to Parliament House, actually, and we invite all of the MPs, anyone who's available to come and visit. It really is a relationship building and education sort of journey, because a lot of the time our politicians are they've got so many issues that they need to solve, and a lot of the time our issues are not their issues, and so we need to present to them what really matters. And at the end of the day, once those conversations happen and they realize just how important this technology is, particularly to GDP, to efficiencies, it isn't until that point that they really start to pay attention. And it's our job to go into those rooms and to educate and to build relationships. So we would not be where we are if we didn't have those relationships.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Amy, for your excellent contribution. And thank